Good evening, everybody. This is it. It is finally here. It's all over. I am sitting here with IFBB Pro, Mr. Roland Huff, one of the greatest promoters I know, one of my dearest friends. He just got done putting on a spectacular event. So we're going to let him, in his own words, tell you about this event that we just witnessed.
I tell you, it was an event that was, you had to be here to experience it. The first time here in Macon, Georgia, and the house was packed. But first of all, these athletes that showed up, that was in shape, symmetry, conditioning, they was battling it out up there, male and female, and they just had a ball. It was great to hear the true novice folks saying, man, they had such a great time for their first time experience. And that's what it's all about. You know, we try to give back what things that we wanted when we was coming through the ranks.
Right.
You know, I wanted to have this, or I felt like I should have this or that. So that's what I try to do, is to make sure that they get something that say, oh wow. Like for instance, each one of those competitors, I personally called them about a week out and thank them for doing the show and to see if they have any questions and if there's anything that I can do to make their last week easier for them. And you know, just to hear their voices, the smiles on their face, you can actually see it through the phone. Little stuff like that makes a big difference. You know, the co-promoters I have with this, keeping going in, outstanding. Okay, so this is one for the making. This is the beginning.
This is the beginning. So we had quite a few visitors here. We had 2008 Mr. Olympia, multiple time Arnold Classic winning champion, Mr. Dexter Jackson. You guys had the mayor. You had Frank Mir, a legend in UFC. We had all kind of people here. So the atmosphere was electric. And tell us about, you know, what you were feeling about that, how many people came in to participate, because, you know, sometimes that's unheard of. People volunteer to come and to be a part of the event.
Correct. And again, that was attributed to the co-promoter. He had a staff in here that do everything, which made the show run even better. But again, for the mayor to take time out and come and visit what we have done to his city and get up and make a statement about how he's looking forward to next year as to what we're going to bring. A couple of other dignitaries was in here. Macon has accepted us. They see what we're about. They're looking forward to it.
Well, you had a couple of other first-time things that happened. Share with us about we had our first ever wheelchair champion here in Atlanta, Georgia, or in Georgia, the whole state of Georgia, and you just don't see that. He was an awesome thing that he put on. He put on an awesome show. Tell us a little bit about what you're feeling about those. Any competitor coming in, but it's been particularly this competitor because he had a cause that he was doing it for.
Exactly.
And you don't see that every day, so we just appreciate him coming in. What was your take on having him in as a competitor?
Well, first of all, he showed up at opposing practice that we had here in Macon some months ago. And he just made a statement, I want to do that show. And that's all he had to say. And that's why, again, we shouldn't have excuses not to try.
We got him.
Yeah. This guy was in such great shape and drove the crowd wild. He just was an all-around great person. Competitor-wise, you couldn't ask for a better person. And the crowd let him know. The chairman let him know. The mayor let him. Everybody let him know how proud we were of him and for Georgia to have his first wheelchair competitor. That said a lot.
Yeah, this guy was the ultimate competitor. He actually was doing a push-up competition in front of his booth in the back. So he inspired me so much. And so, like Roland said, it's difficult sometimes to think about what you can't do. A lot of times when you see people soaring above what the situation is, and he inspired so many of us just to be a better person and dignitary and a human being.
Exactly.
So that's what bodybuilding is all about. Bodybuilding is about the memories and the friendship and family that you build. Although it's a small community, but it's also one that you can go. It's like a family reunion. Oftentimes we don't see each other throughout the whole year. We come back, it's almost as if we never skipped a beat. So bodybuilding, what is it meant to you? I know you're an IFBB pro, and for another time, Roland here is a pro, and we have funny stories about that, but he's such an inspiration. We're going to say that for a later date and time, what he had to do to be a champion. But, you know, it's all about being consistent, being a bodybuilder. You know, the grind every day, the scheduling every day. You know, people have different coaches, different. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot to appreciate about the sport of bodybuilding. I've had other athletes tell me that, hey, bodybuilding was the hardest thing they ever done in their life. I had football players tell me that. I've had basketball and baseball. I've trained them all. They always tell me, man, you can have the bodybuilding. It's extreme, but people love it. And sometimes people do it for a bucket list. People do it for different reasons. And, you know, I carry the flag for bodybuilding. Roland carries the flag for bodybuilding because we know what it's meant so much for our lives and what we can do for other people. And we reach back. So tell us in your words what bodybuilding has meant to you and your family and how it's progressed into this and evolved into this.
Well, it simply allows me to do what I love doing. You know, I started out bodybuilding as a
I lost the bet. Yeah, I got in bodybuilding.
I was a drill sergeant, and they dared me to get on stage, and I did. And
the bug bit you, right?
And been at it ever since. You know, while I was in the military, I was fortunate to be at the Master Fitness School, and all I did was travel and teach fitness. So the groundwork was laid from this.
Right.
And then I went on to become the first person in Alabama to make it to the pro ranks, and did a couple of pro shows, and I wanted to see what I could do next.
Right.
To further along what I love doing, but how can I continue to help the sport?
Right.
That's when I got into promoting, and now I'm judging. Matter of fact, I fly.
You do everything. That's not true. That's not true. This guy embodies everything about the sport of bodybuilding. You're talking about a promoter. You're talking about being a pro. Well, first off, he's a God-fearing man, in which that is much inspired by me. I'm inspired by that very much. Also, he's a family man. He's a great grandfather. He is everything, and he was only the guy I looked at when I first got into it. He was the MC when I first saw him. He was the MC. He was the promoter. This guy guest posed at his show, and I was looking. My first time seeing him, I was in the audience. I leaned back and I said, "Who's this guy? He's got more energy than anybody I know." But fast forward, here we are, the best of friends, and somebody I admire and look up to for all his work, his good deeds and effort in the sport of bodybuilding. But he's all those things balled up in the bag for being, like I said, a father, grandfather, a great promoter, and he brings so much to the sport of bodybuilding. Tell us if somebody wanted to get into bodybuilding, because we're going to grow this sport.
Yes.
What can we do to help people? Explain what bodybuilding is all about first, because a lot of people don't know that. They just think it's extreme and they don't want to do it. And oftentimes it's a bucket list for people. People get in it for different reasons. We got all kind of family around that's in bodybuilding. So people just think that, hey, those guys are just arrogant, or girls are just arrogant and think about themselves. That is so far from the truth. So tell us a little bit about how to get into it and some words of encouragement for everybody that's thinking about it.
Well, first of all, you got to seek out someone that has the knowledge to take you where you're trying to go. That's not going to be cookie cutter and just telling you what you want to do.
There's a lot of cookie cutter out there.
Yeah. Because this is a serious sport. Because can't nobody do it for you.
Right.
It's one of those things. I can't do the part of it. Robert will see the benefit. No, it's all on me. So it teaches you a lot about yourself, discipline-wise and patient-wise, and just being consistent. If I had to say any word that fits bodybuilding is consistency. And you got to trust the process. If you do those things, you're going to be just fine. But you got to always put your best foot forward. And you know if you put your best foot forward. If you're supposed to do an hour cardio and you cut it short at 50 minutes, who you really?
Right.
Who's not benefiting from that?
Right.
So stuff like that. I mean, you gotta again seek out that person that has the knowledge that can steer you in the right direction and make a decision. Make a decision, choose a show, and go for it. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make a lot is saying that I want to get to this point before I do a show. Well, when do you know you're at that point?
Right.
No.
You don't.
Yeah. It's kind of like, not knowing what's underneath the hood and not taking them out. So basically, you got to strip it down, rebuild it, and then go from there. Like you said, some people it could be just a practice.
It could be.
Because this sport isn't brand new. But if it is, you got work. Nobody trains for second.
That's right.
I don't care who it is. They can say whatever they say. Nobody trains for second. And if you are training for second, then your mind is in the wrong place when it comes to this sport. Because, take it from a judge. We're going to tell you the truth.
That's it.
We're going to tell you the truth about what we see and get their advice. But again, make a decision and go for it.
Well, it might be a bucket list for some, and I always had sympathy and empathy for the person that got second. Nobody likes to get second in the sport of bodybuilding. But for you people out there that think bodybuilding is an extreme sport, it probably is, and it's not for everybody. But tell us about the health benefits that you can get from the sport of bodybuilding, because a lot of people say, hey, it can help people, it can heal people. Just by changing the composition of calories, just about being around the right environment of people, your physical activity levels, your habits change. So bodybuilding has changed lives, and so this is probably taking hundreds of thousands off medication and help people in so many ways that we don't even think about, but we just think about it being extreme. Talk to the regular people out there, would they say bodybuilding is not a healthy thing to do?
Well, that's because people think that bodybuilding is a bunch of suffering.
Yeah.
Doing without this food, that food. I mean, it's the same food, it's just prepared differently. And that's the thing. So those of you that's, maybe bodybuilding is not your thing, but you want to get in shape. I mean, you gotta make a decision, and you gotta change things, change your way of doing things. And before you know it, you're in the best shape of your life. Getting in shape though doesn't mean that you have to be miserable.
Right.
And that's where people go wrong. They think they have to suffer so much until they get.
That's the cookie cutter program that he's talking about. You don't have to suffer every day, all day long. I mean, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a little bit of sacrifice, just a little bit to get what you want out of the sport, or just your body in general. So that may be a lot of things and mean a lot of different things to different people. I know for me, I want to kind of bridge, the science and the sport together, to give people some, like a resource center, to give people some idea of why they're doing what happens when this happens, when this goes wrong, because a lot of times people just don't know, and a lot of times if you Google a lot of things, or Google people, you get into cookie cutter trainers, you get into these expert gurus, and a lot of them are good out there. I'm just saying you have to know why your body's behaving in a certain manner. So the best way to do that is put pen to paper and have conversations and do it. You don't have to, if you're suffering, if you do it too much, then you probably are. It's all about recovery. So that's what people don't realize. Bodybuilding, it could be 90 to 180 day prep for some people. It could be 6 months. It depends on what type of shape you're in. So most people don't realize bodybuilding can be a cornerstone in their life, and you can be healthy at the same time. Yeah. So that's kind of it. We're wrapping this thing up. Our first, I hope annual, Our first annual Mid-Georgia Classic, the NPC Mid-Georgia Classic. It went over great, and like I said, tell us some of the things that we can look forward to at some of your other events, because he has multiple events that he promotes. He's that good, and he treats people great with a lot of memories, and that's what he makes our competitors feel good, and I'm so appreciative of that. He gives them memories, things that they can carry on for life, and share with their grandkids, and share and so on, and share with their friends. So what are some of the other events you got coming up? And tell everybody how they can find you. I want to thank you for being on my first guest on the show at this classic.
Patrick, well, we're constantly trying to evolve and export. Next year, this show becomes where we bring in the cheerleading, the powerlifting, the strongman, stuff like that. And it's the same down in Columbus. We do the same thing. With the next one, to give people more to look forward to do. And, to show that what the Bodybuilding Classic, we're moving that to Birmingham.
Yes, that's coming up soon.
To do even more for the competitor. So I'm constantly looking at how to improve it. But this show next year, Expo. That's the name of the game. The show and that's going to be in July again. The show in Columbus, Georgia, that's going to be April the 3rd. The date is already set. Expo. Pros. We average now about 9 to 13 countries.
Wow.
Coming to compete
Yes.
as pros at these events. And then, we'll take a look at Birmingham, third week in June, and see how we can somehow fit that as an expo as well later on down the road. But we got pros that comes there as well. So again, just trying to do things that I felt like I deserved when I was young.
Well, we want to thank you for giving it to us. Like you said, those events are magnificent because you do have pros from 9 different countries that come, and they come from all over. And so, follow Roland. Tell us how to get a hold of you.
Number one, I'm still old school. Facebook is where I am.
Old school timers.
So Roland Huff, if you like me on Facebook. I'm trying to get better with Instagram, but Facebook, that's the way. If not, you can contact me by phone, 706-405-9539. Send me a text.
That's old school.
Yep, that's how we
That's
do
what
it.
kind of man he is.
Hey, you get what you see. And that's about it. So contact me. I promise I'll answer you. And
Well, I want to thank you for being the first guest on the Bodybuilding Podcast. And how fitting is this to wrap it up with one of the best promoters that I know of. So I just really look forward to working with you more in the future. And I'm looking forward to connecting with each and every last one of you out there. If you have any questions that I can answer, please DM me. Please, those of you who have my text number, please do that. I'll be happy to answer questions. If I don't know, I will point you in the right direction if I don't know. But once again, I want to thank you for joining us on our first episode, Bodybuilding Podcast, where science fuels passion. Science really does fuel passion, so we can show it there on stage, or you can show it out there in just everyday life. So we look forward to seeing you guys next time on the Bodybuilding Podcast. Robert Maxwell.